Well, hello everybody. It's another episode here of Seize Your Business. Kevin O'Flaherty of O'Flaherty Law and myself, Jim Wyzak from Success Enhancement are your hosts. And today our guest is Joe Becht. Joe is with Bellair Expediting. They're a shipping and logistics company. And guess what? Our topic today is shipping and logistics. So, Joe, why don't you tell us just a little bit about your business, and then maybe we'll get into how you started and everything.
Certainly. We're actually quite an old business. We're in our 47th year, and it was started in Chicago, Illinois. We have kind of a unique situation where our only corporately owned office is in Chicago, and then I have stations that we have across the United States that work on a contracted basis with us, and it works really nice. A lot of the stations that we've had with us have been with us for over 30 years.
Okay.
And we have some very large customers, and we offer a specialized service, but we do every type of shipping. Logistics, you brought up the word logistics. It's a term, some people may say it's overused. It's all-encompassing. You see it on the side of trains and semi-trucks. You see it on the side of storage facilities. So we definitely are in logistics because we get things from one place to another place. But we're heavily involved in it, and we do everything. But it's an old established company. I took over the role of president just recently, and we're doing some significant changes to stay up with the times. But it's very competitive too. It's a very competitive industry. You compete with everyone.
So you're president, and you just took that over. Are you an owner, or are you just?
Yes.
You are? Okay.
Yes.
So you acquired it.
Yes.
Because you don't look like you're 40. You've been around 47 years.
No. It's interesting. I started as a driver part-time in 1988.
Okay.
I was going to get my MBA and move on, and then you get married, you buy a house, then you have a kid.
Yeah.
And life,
life happens.
There's a lot of garbage out there as far as commercials, especially insurance commercials. But there's one State Farm commercial that just resonates with me, and it's where he goes, "I'm never getting married," and he's like, "I'm never having kids. I'm never buying a house. I'm never moving to the suburbs." But it happens. So that's
So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the transition. I mean, going from an employee to now an owner. What's kind of changed for you?
Not much, actually. I mean, you learn the nuts and bolts, with the finance and the accounting and human resource aspects. But you're always kind of aware of that, even when you're driving, especially at our company. From the time you're hired there, you're empowered. They make sure you're not just a driver. You know how to do the shipping process. You're involved. Now we're involved heavily with the TSA. We're regulated by the TSA because we don't own our own aircraft. So our drivers have to, be aware of that. And so you were constantly cross-trained in that aspect. And then after that, I went into sales, and you learn a lot in the sales and marketing and the nuts and bolts of what goes on there.
Got it.
And you actually host a podcast about logistics, right?
Yes, I do.
Logical Logistics?
Yes. So I decided to do that because, one, I love podcasts, and thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for being here.
I listen to them all. I listen to at least one a day. But I realize there's so many business shows out there, radio, podcasts, CNBC, Fox News, but they never talk about how materials get from point A to point B, and that's probably the most critical part of business, or one of the most, not the, but definitely in the top 5. If you can't get things from here to there, things are going to fall apart. And I thought I would like to do a podcast addressing that, and I looked at a couple of podcasts out there, and they really weren't resonating with me what actually I see out in the industry. So I decided to just go for it and do a podcast, and it's just been a lot of fun, and the guests have been fascinating.
And where can people find your podcast while we're talking?
Well, we're on iTunes and a few other platforms. The name of the show is Logical Logistics, and I've had 5 shows now. My 6th will be recorded tomorrow morning at 9. We should have it up tomorrow evening, and we've interviewed so far out of the 6 guests, it's all different areas of the industry. gentlemen who actually run shipping and logistics and supply chain for large conglomerate companies to delivery agents to truckers, air freight association, international shipping associations. So as I said, you see the term logistics everywhere. So it's limitless as far as to who I can have on the show and talk about it.
What type of companies do you work with as a logistics company? Who are your main customers?
Well, in Chicago, our main customer is one of the leaders in radiation oncology. And it's very, very interesting. We're basically in a partnership with them, and it works very well. And we store their equipment and ship it for them, and it's very critical. A lot of times, they'll need parts when a patient has treatments. So we deliver to a lot of hospitals and cancer treatment centers all over the United States. And we're specialized in different areas of the country. Seattle is partnered with a large department store. In Detroit, automotive, obviously, and they've been a customer of ours. These have been customer of ours for quite a long time. But there is a very wide array of customer base that we have, and it is dependent on, or it's predicated on what market we're in. It seems, but
I've got a question.
Yes,
I'm dying to ask you. Okay, so you've been doing this a long time, and I'm sure, like any business, all kind of crazy, odd things happen. So, what would you say is like one of the crazier ones you could think of? Like, you open a container and it's supposed to be, shavers, and it turns out to be bottles of hair tonic or something.
I tell everyone I could write a book. I don't know how much I should tell you here because I've seen it all. I just, right off the bat, theft is just amazing. We were doing mink coats. I mean, millions of dollars of mink coats, and they're really resourceful. It seems in New York City, their airports, and it either happened at JFK or LaGuardia, and they punched a hole about this size into the box, and they took half the mink coats out of the box.
To a small hole like that.
Wow. As far as shipping parts, we there was an oil rig back. This was back in the late '90s. There was an oil rig in the Persian Gulf that went down, and they were losing millions of dollars a minute. So we had to do a hand carry of a part. It went from Chicago to London to Bahrain, delivered the part to the oil base. He was able to stay in Bahrain for 24 hours, and they flew back to Chicago. So we did specialized things like that. But yeah, I've seen it all from shipping end, from the human resources end, to the different people, good and bad.
No dead bodies, though, huh?
No dead body. We can't ship dead body.
But you could have found one.
I'll leave that for another interview. Yeah.
So what's the question that most shippers fail to ask but should?
I think that even in today's environment, they don't ask about value, and they're still way too concerned about price. They don't ask about what kind of service they're going to get. They just assume that it's, I'm going to pay a cheap price, put it on there. And for the most part, I mean, the larger companies like FedEx and UPS, they do serve a role and get things done well. But there are special needs that are out there that a company like ours can provide, and we provide value. And a lot of times it just, I'll run in, I know I can do a great job, but there's still a mindset out there, we want to go with the cheapest, and they don't ask about what kind of value can I get with the service.
Can you go into that, a little bit of the type of value you can add over and above your cheapest competitor?
Yeah, customer service, just the overall shipping process, the relationship we have with our vendors to get it there. The tracking, we rely on technology, but we want to be not so reliant that we aren't doing the hands-on. So we're constantly on the phone. We're constantly talking. We're constantly meeting with people face to face to make sure things get there. So we like to move forward with the technology, but keep the things that worked well in the past, and that that person contact, that talking on the phone. When people call our office, we answer the phone. Our operations is we answer the phone for the most part. If 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll get an answering service, but we'll return your call within a few minutes. So we're 24/7 as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, we never close.
Is there a difference between the people that want to ship, one package that might go to UPS versus someone who's incorporating it as part of their business system, where like this medical company you were talking about has a continuing need? Can you service people that just have, one-off needs occasionally, or is it mostly...
Okay, so, with the one-off needs, I can do that for a company, but I can't do that for a person. And that's just mandated by the TSA. They have a known shipper program, so we have to validate each customer. Mm-hmm. Now they have a database where it's a lot easier. Before it was kind of tedious. You could be calling me from Apple Computer, and 10, 15 years ago, and I would have to wait 7 days, make a site visit, and even though it was Apple Computer. Mm-hmm. Now there's a database where it can be done quicker. Mm-hmm. But if you were just to call me personally and ship personal items, I can't touch any of that because it'd be violating TSA. And TSA, they define different carriers as non-integrated and integrated. And we're non-integrated because we don't have our own aircraft. So we're using commercial airlines. Okay. And just as a plug, you asked about customers. I wanted to leave some anonymity in there. But as far as service, though, Southwest Airlines is outstanding as far as a carrier. You notice that on the passenger side, but also on the freight side, they just have been a great partner of ours. So we use that. Back to the package, though, there is a big need for 3PL, third-party logistics. So we get approached all the time. Today, I met with a company just before I came here, where he's doing the shipping and putting it on UPS, but it's costing him a lot of time and money, and it would be more cost-effective and he'd get better value for us to do that. So for a fee, we keep his inventory, ship it out on UPS for him, send him a bill, and get everything coordinated for him. And that's pretty much what logistics means. So we do those types of services as well.
Now, I know you don't deal with the consumer, the individual, but just out of curiosity, I think I remember reading somewhere where we're going to, not too far from today, when we have drones delivering packages to,
There's talk of that. What I thought was the most significant development in my industry was right during and after the Christmas holidays. Amazon, it was a big press release how Amazon was unhappy with their delivery service, and then maybe a week later they put out a press release that they purchased 3 or 4 767s. So Amazon, it appears, wants to go into the shipping business and become their own FedEx or UPS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this question. It doesn't directly relate to shipping and logistics, but there's a lot of people out there who, are sort of tired of working for somebody else, and they want to have their own business. Or what kind of advice, what kind of things should they be thinking about in making that leap?
I think that it's very important, and I've learned this for myself with working for Bellair, especially most recently, where now I'm all in. I'm president of the company. You have to just believe in yourself. Go for it. I know it's wise to have a plan B, but don't make the plan B so successful. You're all in. You're going for it. And if you fail, you fail, and I know it's painful. And I've known people that have failed. But what I've found out, that I've met so many people that have had those little blips or failures, but they've come back even stronger. It's just amazing the people I've run into. So never give up, believe in yourself, and just say, I'm all in, I'm going for it. And
if you fail, just try again. Keep going.
If you fail, keep on trying. Yes, definitely.
Sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, Joe, if someone wants to reach you either for your podcast or for logistics work, how can they reach you?
So I have 2 email addresses. My first is my last name. It's BECHT, the number 5, at Comcast.net. Or they can reach me at Joe at Bellair, BELLAIR.com. That's my email addresses. that's probably those are the best ways to reach me. Then I'll release my phone number and everything, and we can talk.
Okay, and Jim, how can people reach you?
Well, the best way is by phone, 630-272-3895. You can look at my website as well, improv-4-business.com. Call me whatever you need. I'm always happy to share my network.
And you can reach me at 630-324-6666 if you need legal stuff. Otherwise, go to seizeyourbusiness.com. And you can download videos or audio recordings of this podcast and get information on Joe and on me and Jim.
Oh, I just want to my podcast too, Logical Logistics. Please give it a listen. If you want to be a guest on the show, I'm willing to interview you. As I said, logistics is an all-encompassing term. So if you have an interest and want to be a guest on my show, please, by all means, download the show, review it, and contact me. It's called Logical Logistics.
Thanks so much for your time today, Joe. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right.